knife, get a good one. We need a good one. This dude's big. Bring it to the key strip, bring it to the yard with you, crap it out, hand it to so and so. He's gonna go hit the dude. So this dude does it. He gets everything hooked up, brings it out, sits down on the commode, takes it out, drops it next to the toilet.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Ronnie Harrell. What's up, Ronnie?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem.
Yeah, you have a really interesting story, man, and we're going to dive into it.
Right. And, it might be better if you want to start in the beginning, and I'll bring you up to speed to that point.
Yeah.
Okay, so, like most people, I started out just running the streets and, McLaren Hall, Juvenile Hall, all that until I hit YA, where I got in the mix with Nazi lowriders.
Where are you from? First off, where are you from?
I'm from Lakewood, California. Originally from Lakewood, California. Yeah, I'm out in Idaho now, but originally from Lakewood, California. And so I wind up in Juvenile Hall, then YA, and I become part of the Nazi lowriders. Well, back then it was just a fad. Somewhere along the line, it switched to a gang. And so I was there and did that, and then he graduated to prison. And having been in YA, I got this mindset. I'm on my way to fire camp, and I end up stabbing somebody in front of R&R. And that ended fire camp, sent me to Soledad. I'm there about a month, and I end up stabbing this CO, Garnett, in the hallway. Thought that was the things we do. So now I'm on my way to Folsom at a very young age. So I end up next door to Joe Morgan on one side, some Brand on the other, and the indoctrination starts, And this goes on. I go from there to San Quentin, and there's I'm seeing a lot of things go down. I'm seeing cops, shoot dudes in the head, then shoot the warning shot in the air. I'm seeing how the game is really played, and it's played real freaking dirty, man. I get to Quentin, and then when it's time for me to go, the fellas come to me and said, hey, somebody from the feds, one of ours, we need you to do something. So leaving that out, I get out, I do what they ask. Next thing I know, I got this federal beef, and I'm in the feds, and it turns out that the individual I did that for was Barry Mills. And he's like number one of the whole cha-cha. So I'm a hang-arounder with him, right? And I'm on the yard in Atlanta. My history's got me in the United States penitentiaries, and he's there, and that's how I get to that point. And that's how I'm with him and Mac and all this. And the thing had went down with John Gotti, where he had gotten that fight, and he was upset about it, But John Gotti's not a big-time scrapper, he is what he is. He's a smart guy, too. And he knew where the power structure was, so he got with them to put the move down to clean that whole thing up for him, Now, the particulars of that, or how that was supposed to happen, beyond me, I wasn't there for that conversation. But I know that he paid. They did what they were supposed to do, and then the next month, they come down and they brace him on both sides, and they tell him, hey, John, the money didn't get there, man. He told them, oh, wait a minute. You already came and told me it did get there. And they tell him, no, John, that's every month. Now, he's a smart guy. He knows that this isn't his backyard. If he does something on the street, everybody in there that's associated with him would get killed. He probably went ahead and paid just because it was the smart move, but paid that he did. And he paid until he got transferred, I guess, to another place where he died in that prison in Philadelphia or whatever, where he got sick with cancer. Later on down the line, Lewisburg and all that, I get out of the feds. I go back to the state. I get out of the state, and I'm in the county jail on some other crap because I just don't learn my lessons. School of Hard Knocks, and I'm taking the extended course. So I'm in the county jail. I'm in a cell. I got the keys, and the Mexicans, the Serenos, are waiting for this paisa to come in that did something to a kid, and they're laying in the cut for this dude. Well, it's my luck that night they bring a paisa into my cell. I go out, and they brace me, and they say, hey, Ronnie, will you check that dude out for us, find out what his deal is? So I do. This dude's from Texas, and he's good. It ain't him. I go out and tell him, His name's Nino. I go back in and I tell Nino, here's a commissary list, man. Put you some stuff on there. He didn't want to. I know, no, put it on there, brother. So you got to share mine with you, so get your own. So I hook him up, man. And this dude's a heavy player with some of these cartels. And before he leaves, he tells me, hey, you can call me Nino, and he gives me his phone number, right? And he goes, you need anything, you call me. I get back out. I'm running on this robbery case, this home invasion robbery case, and I call him up. And this leads to just some crazy shit, man. I call him up. He's in contact. He's playing with all these different cartels. He runs me into Juarez. I do a deal with him, but I don't feel comfortable. I end up doing things with Sinaloa. And this is all common knowledge. Feds already know about it. And I ended up moving 25 pounds of meth from Mexico to Las Vegas, out to Hawaii. All good things eventually come to an end. I kind of feel like the government let me sling all this dope for so long, and I was doing 25 pounds a month. They let me sling all this shit to build up so they could just take it all from me. And believe me, they did. When I went down, I ended up going back to the feds. So I get in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm facing the case there. And I get my sentence there. I go back to the feds, and I'm in all the USPs. And I make my bones for the fellas, for the brand. And they're letting us all in. But who's letting us in is Ziggy and Bobby Ray Shields. And Ziggy just came out of ADX. So it comes out that Ziggy eventually gets caught up. He would come out of there working for the feds. And by this time, I'm starting to have second thoughts about this whole get down. It's just not looking what I thought it was. I'm noticing that nobody dies of old age. Everybody gets killed by a guy they call their brother. And I'm like, fuck, what have I really gotten myself into? But I'm in there with both feet.
Yeah.
This is my chance. They tell me, hey, we're putting everybody on hold that Ziggy and Bobby Ray let in. So I just said, hey, you know what? I did all this fucking work and now I'm on hold. I'm good, fellas. Me and Steve, a few other guys did the same thing. They were having second thoughts and they took that as a back door. So I shot on up out of that. And I did the time. I was getting out of Leavenworth, and it was no big deal. They didn't really care at that point because of the whole situation. What they had to do, they had to freeze, and they had to look at everybody that Ziggy had brought in because they wanted to make sure he didn't bring in nobody else working for the feds. Yeah. And it just provided an opportunity for me and a couple other guys who had been talking. So go back. I'm still in all the penitentiaries. I'm in Leavenworth. I think I'm getting out. Even though I was running on the whole home invasion thing, it never came up. So I'm all dressed up, ready to get out of Leavenworth. I hit the steps, and here they are from Rialto. Bam, cuff me up. Take me right back to California and give me 28 years bow-legged. Okay, so I hit to California, and I'm in all the level 4s there. So I'm sick of it all, though. But you really, in California, you don't get to just be sick of something because you're still part of the yard. And you can be sick of whatever you want to. But get your fucking knife and get your knife and get out there with everybody, or go be sick of it in a cell somewhere in the hole, never coming out where we can't get to you. That's just the get down. So you're part of the thing, whether you like it or sign up or not. That's just how California is. So things went on. I eventually dropped a level, which was good. Once I got down to that next lower level, I started writing programs and doing these things and finding my way out. And I started a nonprofit. I wrote these programs. I wrote this self-help book, and I started pushing all of that. Well, eventually CDCR takes note of what I'm doing with all these new laws. They send me back to court for resentencing. I still had 13 years left on my sentence, and a month ago they bring me back into court, and this is all in there in black and white. They resentenced me to 22 years, give me time served, and let me out. No parole. I got nothing. I'm sitting here. I'm clean as the whistle. I'm having a hard time figuring out how to handle the phone, answer a phone. I go into a gas station to use the bathroom. I'm looking for the switch on the blow dryer so I could turn it on. I'm in there like 10 minutes. My wife's knocking on the door. Hey, what the hell's going on here? I can't find this button. Put your hands under it. So I'm able to dry my hands. So things are really screwed. I'm still trying to figure it all out. Yeah. But that's the story. Any questions?
I got tons of questions. So
there you go.
When you got to put in work for the brand or
Uh-huh.
whoever you're a part of, what's the process? Can you walk me through that?
Yeah, in California, it don't matter if you're part of it or not. Okay, so I'm in the guidance center in Chino, right? Which is a real political place because all the violators come in there. The whites have to do the most with less the quickest. Our guys don't come in right off of gangs on the streets on all that. Our guys come in, some of them looking like Bill Gates. You know, they're just not ready to pick up a knife. Well, you know, they're going to get ready, like it or not. And when it comes time and people are up, like, okay, so Nazi lowriders are doing hits for the brand. Boom. It's not a question. You get told what's going to happen. They got guys on there going to make there, and you get told this you're up, man. It's your time, and you go put it down. And if you don't, I'm sorry about your bad luck. You've been kicking it and doing all of this long. And then guys that aren't really built like that and made for it, well, they're doing other things. There's kiddies they're kicking into. They're working in the kitchen, bringing all that food back and dropping it off to get distributed. You know, everybody has their get down, but it's not a, oh, will you do this? And usually it's not an issue either because you got people gnawing at the bit to go do something to somebody. So I might tell a dude, hey, you know what? You three right here, I need you to go in, wrap this dude up, tackle him, and just hold his legs wrapped up, and you two handle the business and get it done. I may go out and screen somebody on the yard and tell a couple of shooters, hey, when I walk away, if I take my hat off, hit this dude. And it's pretty plain and simple. I go to a cell when somebody first comes in and I tell them, here's the deal, and I'm just a messenger. So don't get mad at me. These are the rules. You got something, get on that toilet, give it to me. I'll give you back what you can have. And don't think you can sneak it through and not find out.
Oh, so if someone comes in with drugs, they have to give it up.
Oh, yeah. That, in Chino, I tell them straight out, just get on that toilet, get it out, wash it off, give it to me. I'll give you back what you can have. That's just how it works. That's how it is. It's also, I would tell them when exercises are happening, right? Your bunkie will be on his bunk. You'll be down here. Don't think you can get by without exercising because the cops let me out to walk the tiers and make sure you're fucking doing it. That's just the way it is. And if you go to work in the kitchen, don't just go in there and get a job. Come ask me. You want a job? I'll give you one, but you bring that food that you steal to this cell. You give it to him, and he'll give you back what you can have. Because the guys that are shooters and doing the hits so that you can walk around here and steal food are getting paid for that. They're getting this stuff. And then if you go to store, anything over $20, 20% of what you go for goes to the kitty. And don't write down what you think we need. I'll give you a list. And I get a list of how much you're going for and everybody that's going every week. It's just simple. It's organized.
They have it pretty locked down.
People come in like, okay, so I got the keys to the line right there. I hand out keys to every unit. Once a week, there's a roll call done in every unit. And the names of every white guy is written down. It comes to me. I do a master sheet. I put it with the kitty that goes back to the hole in the back. The cop comes and gets it, takes it back to the hole. The next week when he comes to pick up that kitty in that list, there's a small list that comes out with him. And it's all bad. It's all bad on that list. So we start hitting them that week.
And the cops
that's pretty much how it is.
The cops are cool with this. Like they are straight down with the program.
The cops are helping until they go to prison too. The ones we got, you know. And one of the ones we had, he might be out of the feds now, but he ended up going to the feds for a while on a RICO act. He was mad as hell about it, but it was too late for him. And
now, what happens when one of the cops goes to prison for this? What's his experience like in prison?
You know, here's the thing, right? You would think that he might get a pass and it might be all right. That's just not really the case. If he's with the people he was working with and doing all of that gang, like say they were doing something with the brand could put word out, nothing's to happen to him. But let's just say he leaves a place where California brand's not welcome and touches down. They find out he's a cop. Well, they're going to hit that dude. And it's going to be ugly. So he's pretty much got to do his time in the hole away from population. And this thing about the brand is good with Texas AB and all of that. Look, when I left the feds, and this is how it was, the brand wasn't good with any other AB. They didn't recognize none of them. They could barely go to 3 or 4 lines at this point because as soon as they hit, people learn safety comes in numbers, and they would just mass hit them right off the yard. You know, so it's pretty nip and tuck in the feds, depending on where you land. You
Yeah.
know,
So yeah, it's really it's luck of the draw, pretty much, right?
yeah, like they sent me to a yard that we don't walk, right? But here's the deal, and it ain't cool. The deal is this: if you just go to the hole and they lock you up and you let them do that, it could take you a year and a half, 2 years to get out of there. If you go to the yard, take your lickings, go on back, and God, but you may not survive that. So I'm hitting I'm in the penitentiary in Coleman, Florida, USP 1, Coleman 1. So I tell the squad tells me, yeah, you're going to the hole. You don't walk here. I told them, no, you don't decide that. Let the yard decide. You let them decide. They go, okay. I signed the tough guy chrono and boom, out I go. So I hit the yard, but there's a couple guys there that know me and owed me favors. So they were speaking up for me. All that did was kept the knives out of it. I left that yard looking like a pillowcase full of doorknobs.
Oh,
But
so
I got
it's still, you still got to fight. They just don't stab you.
they didn't stab me because some dude spoke up to me. But a dude that didn't have guys speaking up, he'd get butchered. Like I said, when there's nobody tough, there's nobody so tough they're not getting got. Nobody so big they can't be hit because they just send more guys. They send one guy in to tackle you like a football fucking player, and he wraps your legs up. And the other two go to work on you. You can't fight. You can't do nothing. You got this guy latched onto you like a weight. You don't win. There's no winning. That's their backyard, and everybody knows it. You know.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
the ugly
wild.
truth. The ugly truth is it's not a pretty picture.
Now, have you seen people that you call your brother and them have to hit him? And what's that like?
Yeah, and that was part of my problem. That was part of my problem is that the only guys that you were getting hit by or hitting were guys you called brother because there was a no hands-on policy. So that meant that nobody outside your tip was doing it. So how could you ever really have somebody you called brother and mean it, knowing that you're going to eventually, probably, if this dude fucked up, and everybody does, do something rude, crude, and socially unacceptable to him? So nobody was really your brother, and that was part of the problem.
Now, what
You
type of
know,
stuff have you seen that where they took their own out?
okay, so I seen the sergeant at arms get told to sharpen up a knife. This was in Folsom. Sharpen up a knife, get a good one. We need a good one. This dude's big. Bring it to the key strip, bring it to the yard with you, crap it out, hand it to so and so. He's gonna go hit the dude. So this dude does it. He gets everything hooked up, brings it out, sits down on the commode, takes it out, drops it next to the toilet, walks away. This is all gunners are on ship. They're not seeing everything. And he walks away, and the guy that's supposed to get it and hit the other dude with gets it, picks it up, and goes and hits the dude that just made it. Yeah, so I watched that happen. I watched guys buck the system, get told, hey, it's a wrap, man. They get warned, they're going to get you, and not believe it. And in Terre Haute, get his head all the way off. Yeah. So I've seen 3 heads get all the way off. All were by AV.
They're
Victorville,
on
they cut one.
savage, right? They're really savage when they take care of business.
Yeah, because in the feds, it's different. In the states, you got the guns. 9 times out of 10, the guy doing the hit is getting shot. So he's getting the worst of it. That's in California state because they got the guns on everybody. In the feds, it's a different get down, man. You go in units, there's one cop, there's no guns. He opens them doors in the morning, goes in his office, and he'll tell you, hey, man, can you do your time? I'm just trying to do mine. So the deal is, especially in Leavenworth, you're way back in the back. The thing is, carry yourself right because you only get to be wrong once. And then that's it. Game over. And everybody in the feds has a knife, like where they just got Whitey Bulger, right? Hazleton. Okay. First of all, that's all Philly boys that got that yard and shit. So they knew when Bulger got sent there, he was getting whacked. He had to know it too, and yet he signed to go to that yard. So he just let the people get him. That was his decision. But in Hazleton, it's so off the hook. I'm coming out to the yard, and the metal detectors, people are going through it. It rings with everybody that goes through it. And I have this thick glass piece. It's just thick and nice and ugly. And I got it. And the cop pulls me over to search me. And he taps it. And he goes, uh-huh. He goes, take off, man. You need that thing more than I do. And that's just how Hazleton is.
So you're on camera during a lot of this shit, right?
Yeah.
So what
Yeah, it's
about
on camera.
what kind of defense do you have when you're right on camera committing a crime against someone else?
Here's your defense. There's so much of it going on. They tried to pick up every one of those cases. The courts would be so clogged, they wouldn't be able to handle cases from the streets. So there's your defense. So you, even if you whack somebody and they die, okay, you're not going to court right away. You're getting an 8 or 11 year stint in ADX, Colorado. And you go there. Then when you come back out, they'll pick you up on it. But maybe not even then, because there's no statute of limitations on murder. But maybe not even then, because if you ain't getting out anyways, they're not going to waste their time. They're not going to pull you back in front of everything. You just do your thing, go to ADX, and then by the time them dudes are in ADX, right? They come out of there like, because the Fed, you don't have TVs in your cell. They come out of there liking the solitary, liking the TV so much that they leave there with a mission in mind. They're going to kill somebody and get another 11 years.